I'm Jerry Adams. I'm the Dean of the Business School here at the University of Adelaide. This session obviously is about the business school. If that's what you're here for, you're in the right place, but otherwise you're welcome anyway. I'm here for two reasons. One is to add my personal welcome to the welcome you already would have enjoyed from a number of places during the course of the day. But I'd like to make sure you do feel welcomed personally, and I hope you're having a great day as you're going about gathering information and getting ready to make a decision about which university to attend. The second reason I'm here on a day like today, where you're likely to be inundated with information, is to offer 4 points that I would suggest you might keep in mind as you think about today and other research you're doing into your choice. Four things to remember about your choice. Number one, you're choosing a university based on capabilities. That's not only infrastructure, but of course it's programs, the academic content. And as you know, University of Adelaide is a group of 8 universities. You may have seen in the Financial Review on Friday that the academic world rankings for universities are out for 2013. University of Adelaide is in the top 1% of universities worldwide, top 8 in Australia, and easily number 1 in South Australia. Point 2, you're choosing a university not only based on capabilities, but also based on people. Not only your instructors, of course, and I hope you've had a chance to meet some prospective instructors today as you've been touring around, but also, of course, the students that you'll be attending with. These people will help you to learn. They're likely to become your lifelong friends, and they'll certainly be part of your network after university. And not just the instructors and the students, but the whole range of individuals you may meet in, around, and external to the university that the University of Adelaide brings into the program. Point 3, you're choosing a brand. For those who've already been through university here, you'll know you'll be asked countless times, what university did you go to? Every time you send in a CV or a resume anywhere, that university will be on there. It becomes part of your personal brand. So it's a lifelong decision that you're making. Think about the brand you want. And item 4 is the non-academic aspects of university life. There's a lot to be said for the university experience, and not all of it is academic. We hope you've had a chance, despite the rainy day, to have a good look at the campus if you weren't familiar with it. It's a lovely campus, and it does really promote a full campus lifestyle and university life. We also have numerous programs here that are maybe academic in their inception, but are about more than academics in terms of personal development, international study tours, international exchange programs, speakers on campus. So as you think about your choices, once again, and what's coming up in just a moment is more detailed information about the business school, but I'd urge you to keep those 4 points in mind and give yourself a focal point. Now, to do the real work of the day and to talk about the business school much more specifically is Dr. Tony McMurtry. He's the academic director for undergraduate programs in the business school. Super well qualified to talk on this subject, so we'll turn it over to him. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerry. Can you hear me all right when I stand here? I've got a lapel mic on as opposed to this one. Can you get me in the recording? Cheers. I'm going to talk about the program. I'm going to walk you through a few things. I'm going to provide some evidence to support a couple of things that Jerry's just told you. First of all, about the University of Adelaide, ranked in the top 1% of the world. It's an ambition of ours to produce world-ready graduates. It's one of our graduate attributes that we're trying to foster. And so we just don't want you job ready. We don't want you to be able to go out and do mechanics. We want you to become world leaders. And that's what a lot of our students are. We have former students out of our program that are government leaders in several countries. A current Deputy Prime Minister in Southeast Asia is one of our graduates. So that's what we're trying to prepare you for. We can evidence this. Well, it's easy enough to say we're one of the best universities in the world, but we can evidence this through our accreditations. We have a range of Your dot's not working. There it goes. We have a range of professional accreditations where various professional bodies have been able to accredit us or see fit to accredit the programs we offer. Some of them are requirements for professional recognition, some of them are recognition of what we've done. The one we're particularly proud of is the AACSB, the Association for the Advancement of Collegiate Schools of Business, which is a worldwide accrediting body. It accredits only business programs around the world, and if you have been accredited, then you're recognised as being one of the top 5% of the business programs there is in the world. So we think we are special. We know we're special, and we'd like you to think we're pretty good as well. So why Adelaide? Why not UniSA? Why not Flinders? Why not somewhere else? Well, our programs, the programs we offer, let's say, they've been accredited by various accrediting bodies. They're highly regarded within the business community in South Australia, and in fact in Australia-wise. And we're trying to build a whole lot of various skills and things into them that have been established or links created through links we have with the various professional bodies. Part of our accreditation requires that we only can employ highly qualified staff who keep their qualifications current. So we have an academic profile that is extremely high in terms of qualifications, experience and reputation. Within the business school, we are very much student focused. Our product is the education we provide you. The nature of our programs is such that it will provide students with the opportunity for a range of challenging careers. I can think of recent former graduates who are working as a marketing analyst for an international marketing company. I have a fond recollection of a student who went through my accounting program a few years ago who is now a senior accountant for one of the big four accounting firms in London. And my feeling at the time was if he can do it, then it's possible for most people to be able to do it. Another one graduate who I remember is now a senior investment advisor with Deutsche Bank, has been in various international banking organisations around the world. Most senior accountants around Adelaide around the city have an Adelaide degree. And we've even got students who have gone into the fashion industry as fashion designers and that sort of thing. Not necessarily using their business skills to design fashion, but rather using the business skills to be able to support their fashion business. So within the university, the business school offers a range of programs for you. Now today, I'm going to talk to you basically about the top two, the Bachelor of Commerce and the Bachelor of Finance. We also offer postgraduate qualifications in these areas as well. A Master of Commerce, we call it, but it's actually a series of master's degrees by coursework. An MBA, for people who are in the business world and want to increase their skills. And for those of us who struggle to think of anything else to do, there's research degrees, a Master's of Philosophy or a PhD, a doctorate that you can do. So when I talk about programs today, I'm going to be talking about the undergraduate programs, the bachelor's programs. Now these programs, as I've just mentioned, have been developed very closely with the input of the various professional bodies in order to make you work ready, or make our graduates work ready. And what we've been able to develop over the years in order to sort of produce a rounded business graduate is a rounded set of business programs. So the Bachelor of Commerce is just a generic name of the degree, and within that you can make various specialisations. Accounting, which I can't understand why everybody doesn't want to do, being an accountant myself. Finance, international business, marketing and management. And then also a Bachelor of Finance with an option in international finance. I will talk about each of these in a minute and sort of explain what's in them. But there's one point I want to make about them, and that is that one of the questions, when I open up for questions, if I don't answer it now, one of the questions I'm going to get is what is the ATAR that we need to get in here? Now, the ATAR is a product or subject to supply and demand. It is driven by the number of places we have available, and that is driven by various political as well as economic factors, and it is also driven by the number of students who want to come here. For the last couple of years, the ATAR into the Bachelor of Commerce programs has been in the low to mid-80s, and I would expect it to stay somewhere around there this year for your intake. Just to put that into comparison, and just so you know how it sits with the other universities, at the UniSA last year the ATAR was 60.3, and at Flinders they draw the line at 70. They don't go below 70, and they didn't fill their quota. So that means that you're probably going to be doing a commerce program if you come here with some of the best students in the state. And I've been teaching them long enough, and I know that some of them provide very challenging experiences for you at the top end. So what is commerce? When we talk about this BCom, I'm going to, as I said, in a minute start talking about the programs of various degrees themselves, the various programs themselves, but let's sort of take over the top what is commerce to start with. Commerce is the generic term for the multidisciplinary field of study of business, of various business areas. It's fundamentally concerned with the management and administration of individual businesses and various organisations. Now, when we talk about organisations, we're not just talking about the private sector. We offer opportunities to study if you're interested in the public sector, private sector and government as well. So all these go to make up sort of the discipline of commerce. I'm cognizant of the time, I'm cognizant of the rain, so we'll keep going and start to look at basic structure of a commerce degree, then get into what we're... Our degree is made up of it's a 3-year degree. Each year, a full-time load is 8 courses, 2 lots of 4 in each semester. The reason we have this generic Bachelor of Commerce instead of having various single degrees of somebody come in and do accounting or somebody come in and do finance, many students come in knowing that's what they want to do, but there are some students who come in with not really sure. Know they want to do something in the area, but are not really sure what they want to do. So at that point, that's the role of being able to have a generic Bachelor of Commerce type program where people can come in and then make their choice on what specialisation they want to do once they've been exposed to the various areas. There are some common areas of study that everybody does, irrespective of which specialisation they want to take. Everybody does a course called Accounting for Decision Makers, which is fundamentally a financial literacy course. What does it all mean? There's some economics that students do, and there's a stats course. So everybody does a bit of economics, everybody does a little bit of accounting, everybody does some stats, and then you can start to take electives relating to the specialisation you want to do. For some of the specialisations, there are additional first-year level courses, information systems, commercial law, and an international finance and institutional markets course, depending on which specialisation you want to take, whether you take any of those. And then when you get into second or third year, the courses you take, the core courses and the elective courses you'll take will be totally dependent upon your field of study. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through each of the programs and not talk about what's in them, because that doesn't really mean anything to you at this point in time, but what they're about. First one, the Bachelor of Commerce with Accounting. This has been accredited by both the professional accounting bodies in South Australia, CPA Australia and the Institute of Chartered Accountants. It is a program that is designed for people who wish to go into professional accounting. It is a professional accounting qualification. At the end of it, now what is an accountant? Well, it's a bit like saying what is anything. It's where do careers lie? Careers lie everywhere from public accounting. You could go 400 metres down the road 200 metres down the road to KPMG or into the middle of town for one of the other big four accounting firms. You could work in that big public accounting, you could work in small public accounting. But a lot of accounting graduates end up working as accountants in commerce and industry, working as the in-house accountant for manufacturers, for various businesses, for service providers, and also in government. A lot of people who start in the accounting profession don't stay in the accounting profession. It's not because they don't want to be accountants, but because the skills they've developed, the skills they have, allows them to develop into broader things. Some of the things listed there at the bottom: finance, computer systems, admin, public relations, all are things that people with accounting qualifications go into eventually, and are all areas that are available for study within the program while they're here. I'm going to leave the corporate finance program till the end, because I'm going to talk about that and then in conjunction with the Bachelor of Finance together. So the next one I want to talk about quickly is the Bachelor of Commerce Management. Now, as you realise, this has been accredited by the Australian Institution of Management, the AIM. And management is another one of these sort of broad terms, generic terms, and we cover things, or we have opportunities to cover things like organisational behaviour, international management, strategic management, HRM. Depending upon what you do within your management degree, can lead to membership of either the AIM or RE, the Australian Human Resources Institute, if you do a couple of the human resource type courses. Where do people with a management degree end up? Well, they can end up anywhere. Anywhere where there's decision-making skills required and needed in a specific area. One little reference point I would give you here, though, is that I once was teaching in a management program, and I had a student, and I was asking students where they wanted to end up. And one student told me he was going to be a manager. And a manager of what? I said, and he said it didn't matter. When you do a management type program, you have space for electives. One of the pieces of advice I would give you if you were my own son or daughter was that you get some technical skill to go with it. Some sort of technical skill to go with it. Not to the level of qualifications of accountant or a finance director or anything like that, but just some technical knowledge to go with it. Because you'll have the management skills, technical skills are also an important thing you need to have. Marketing. Accredited by several different marketing professional bodies. I have up there this Australasian Market and Social Research Society. Only marketers would have an acronym of more than 3 letters. So, but we specialise in two different types of marketing. We specialise in marketing, two types of market studies: market research, which is finding out what consumers want and how they buy and their buying practices and those sorts of things, and consumer behaviour, which is how they react to various things. Not big on advertising. Not sure why, but we're not. I don't think we just don't have the skills, but we look at international marketing within these contexts, and the market strategy and project thing identified there is recognition of the fact that you will do a market research project at the end of your marketing project, which is actually done with live clients. People pay to have our marketing students come and do a marketing plan for them. So that's part of what we do. There's the Marketing Institute, which provides opportunities for students while you are students to become members. In fact, several of the professional bodies do that. The accounting professional bodies do it. I think FinSIA do it, which I'll mention in a second. And certainly Australian Marketing Institute does. So you could go career opportunities from here. Market planning, brand management, public relations, sales, research, market researchers, all sorts of good fun things. IB, our probably newest program, developed over the last few years. Look at things within the IB program. There's a few interesting things. There's the areas that we would look at are international trade, international management, social challenges when you're talking about doing international business, then marketing. All our students who do the international business program are required to get an international experience of some way or other, or what we call a cultural experience. And that can either be through one of three vehicles. You can either do it studying a language while you're here, because part of language studies includes the cultural side of things, or there's a list of approved cultural courses that students can undertake, or our preferred option is you go and do a semester of study overseas, do a study abroad option. Now, for those of you who come from overseas, going home for a semester doesn't count. It has to be somewhere else. But the career opportunities, import or export, there's a whole lot of things. There's no bounds around the opportunities for some of these programs. So I've just got a few subjects. Okay, now the finance package. First of all, we have a Bachelor of Commerce, Corporate Finance. Accredited by the Financial Services Institute of Australia, or FINSIA, and also provides the body of knowledge that's required in order to become recognised as a certified financial analyst. And it's one of the few, we're one of the few courses or programs in the Southern Hemisphere that provides this. Areas up there of study: financial economics, investment strategy, portfolio theory, those sorts of things. Now, what I want to do is I want to differentiate that slightly from the Bachelor of Finance, which is structured differently to the BCom Corporate Finance. It's a far more quantitative program. Now, people say, what's the difference? Well, the fundamental difference is the area that you want to work in. Corporate finance is about the finance inside an organisation, the treasury function within an organisation, raising finance, ensuring investments are being managed appropriately, that sort of thing. The Bachelor of Finance is aimed at people who want to work in the finance industry in terms of financial advisors, stockbrokers, that sort of type of employment. A lot of the study is the same, though there are specialties within each that sort of differentiate them. A lot of the career opportunities do sort of overlap with each other, but it's the focus of the programs that differentiates them. So corporate finance is about the finance function within a corporation. The Bachelor of Finance is about the finance industry. That's about all I want to say about those, I think. I've got a slide that says it. Which one do you want? BFin or BCom Finance? That will depend on where you see yourself. It's not a decision I can make for you. It's not a decision I'd even attempt to make for anybody. It's where you see yourself. If you see yourself working in the finance side of things within an organisation, corporate finance. If you see yourself as red Ferrari, heart attack by the time you're 50 because you've been working in the boiler room for too long, but you've got $1 million, BFin. So, but the choice is yours. When we've finished here, if you are interested in that at all, if you go across the road to the big building on the corner of Pulteney Street, the other side of North Terrace, called Nexus 10 or 10 Pulteney Street, there are some people from the finance discipline who will be able to give you perhaps better understanding of the differences than I can. And they'll probably tell you about the same thing. Okay, so this is our programs. I want to just finish off very quickly with a couple of things. First question is, what if you don't get it? Whoops, wrong button. It's a new clicker this year and I'm still learning the buttons. What if you don't get into BCom? What if you, for circumstances beyond your control, don't get an offer to the BCom? What options are available to you? Well, there's several options available to you. You can, the BFin and the BEC both have ATARs that are lower than the BCom. So you could apply to go into one of those. In fact, I suggest you put them down to second and third preferences just to cover yourselves. At the end of the first year, if your results demonstrate that you're capable of completing it or doing the work in the BCom, then you can apply for a degree transfer and transfer into the BCom and graduate with one. There is the opportunity of the other two universities and then transferring later on. As I said before, both their ATARs is a lot lower than ours. So you could apply there and do well and transfer to Adelaide once again. Couple of bits of things we provide for your career and development and professional development opportunities. Well, first of all, the top one, ISEC, is an international business students program that offers exchanges, helps organise exchanges of students between universities. We've had several students come to us for experience and we have students go overseas on an ISEC program. There's the Australian Business Student Society, the Adelaide Business Student Society. This is the student group that have set themselves up. It's self-administering. We give them a little bit of financial support sometimes and more support in terms of office space and that sort of thing. They do important things like organise career nights and CV writing exercises and pub crawls and other important student activities that you need. The exchange and study abroad programs administered by the faculty of the professions. These are opportunities for you to go and study in other universities overseas and get credit into your degree here. So bring some other experiences in. B Connected. B stands for Business, Economics and Education. They're the three disciplines that live in the big building across the road that I was talking about. And we have a centralised mentoring program where second and third year students will help provide mentorship for first year students, and I suggest strongly that you make that available to you. Every one of our school committees is supposed to have a student has a student representative on it. And for all the professional bodies, there's support and links that we provide with those. And the graduate yearbook is a book that is produced by students. When you graduate, you put your profile in and it gets mailed out to all the relevant employers in South Australia. Study abroad, why would you want to study abroad? Any other time I've done this presentation, I've been able to say the weather's great. Today I've slipped a little bit, I've lost it. But it's an experience. If you had the opportunity to study abroad, take it. It is an experience you'll never forget. It is something you will take with you for the rest of your life. It'll give you exposure to other cultures, it'll give you exposure to other systems, and it'll give you networking advantages that other students don't have. The Be Connected program that I just mentioned is designed to help students settle into university life. Mentors can give you guidance about programs within the business school. So these are student mentors, they're not staff members, but volunteer students who can give you advice about programs. Unfortunately, some of the advisors don't go to his course, go to that one instead, but they will give you help in getting through. Because one thing that I would stress too is coming to university is a lot different to high school. At high school, you have your teachers there providing you with a lot of support. You might not think it's a lot of support, but as you become more mature and through your university studies, your learning becomes far more self-directed. So the Be Connected program is very good for helping you in that transition. They also organise social events. I had a good one last week, which I missed out on because I was cooking pancakes and I didn't get to it. Some quotes from some of our former graduates, talking about their degree. A great stepping stone into moulding my career pathway, prepared me for the corporate world. And I think the last one is the most important of the lot, developed lifelong friendships and networking contacts. Another question that we will probably pop up in a second is, can we study part-time? Yes, you can. It's a decision you have to make. The other thing is, how much time do we have, or do you have to put into your studies? As much as you can. I've had students come to me and say, I'm a full-time student and I've got a full-time job. And I scratch my head sometimes and wonder how you can have two full-times. But some students, we understand some students have the need to work, so we try to work around that as well where we can, if it's reasonable. That's all I really want to say. I've run out of time. Where's my lady with the sticker who's going to hold her up and tell me I had 1 minute left? She's disappeared. She trusts me. If you want some more information, there's the website, www.adelaide.edu.au/study. If you haven't yet, I would urge you to visit the display centres across the road. So you go out of this building, straight across North Terrace into the building on the corner of North Terrace and Pulteney Street, or there's those contact details available too. There's the university contact. There's also, if you go to the university website, it'll give you contact details on the Professions Hub. You would have seen the Central Hub, or Hub Central as it's called, out the back here, the big building with all the cafeteria type things and booths and that sort of thing in it. We have our own mini version over the road. Okay, has anybody got any questions of either myself or Jerry? You happy to listen, take answers as well? Take questions as well before we finish off, before I kick us out?